Le Mans. It's an historic event that all motorsport fans get excited for, where both the cars and the drivers are pushed to their absolute limits for 24 hours. This historic event was first introduced in 1923, and with the next 100 years it went through so many changes, and to this day it still brings us incredible moments. A few months ago, while I was watching Eden's Top 100 Racing Games video, which by the way is linked in the description, one game stood out in the top 10 for me, that being Test Drive Le Mans. I mainly played the Unlimited series at the time, and seeing this game in the top 10 made me really interested in checking it out and seeing why was it so highly rated. Test Drive as a franchise has had an extremely turbulent lifespan, with development juggled between so many different studios, the latest one being Eden Games and Nacon with the Unlimited series. Test Drive Le Mans had several versions developed by different teams of developers, the original game simply being titled as Le Mans 24 Hours, developed for the PS1 and Windows PC by none other than EU Technics. The crowning jewel, however, is the Dreamcast version, developed by Infogrames Melbourne, and this is the version most mentioned was the best one of the game. Graphically, it looks really damn good for a Dreamcast title, and somehow better than the other versions of the game. The game itself offers several game modes from your usual yet versatile modes such as Quick Race, which this game actually uses to unlock tracks and cars, Championships featuring classification events as a way to unlock even more cars, Time Trial, I don't really need to explain this one other than the fact there's also locked cars in this mode, and the main event of the game, Le Mans, an event taking you straight to the 24-hour action if you are up for the challenge. As the name suggests, this game is centered around the world-famous event 24-hour Le Mans, including its iconic Circuit de la Sarthe track and 9 other ones. To simulate the experience of being in the 24-hour event, a day and night cycle is utilized, although in a compressed manner. Options ranging from 10 to 30 minutes, 1, 6, and even 24 hours for peak realism, with fuel and even tire management playing a big role in here. Oh shit, are we gonna have enough fuel? Okay, P1 for now, P1. But is this enough fuel? Please tell me for the love of God it is.
How about no?
No, it wasn't enough! No! God damn it! That's so sad, man. It's Jover, fellas. It's Jover. As for how the cars handle here, they feel pretty nice, especially compared to Sega GT or Driving Emotion Type S, where it felt like the cars were floating around all over the place. The cars are pretty grippy, and it should be considering the type of cars we're running in this game. It also depends on the weather how the car will be. Sometimes even on soft tires, I was able to drive properly in wet conditions, but would occasionally spin out because of the tires being on life support. There's also a options page which features settings for the other game modes aside from Le Mans, letting you adjust it to whatever way you feel like playing this. This game also features 3 difficulty options, with some assists being on or completely off depending on what you choose, and also affecting the AI. I would personally suggest anyone to play this game on the hottest difficulty, as anything lower turns the AI into a complete cakewalk. What I liked about the AI was the aggression. You can even witness several AI drivers fighting against each other on the track, and it feels like a proper battle that you would witness in any motorsport. Them being side by side, pushing each other around, or off the road entirely, it feels way more human-like. The AI themselves don't exactly rely on rubber banding in this game, as they also need to manage their own fuel and tires. It's very noticeable once the race keeps going, with the AI placements getting scattered in the minimap or just from them pitting, making the true challenge of most races here being your own driving capabilities and whether you're a Ferrari strategist or Hannah Schmitz. Sadly though, the budget probably ran out for the pit crew, as we have only ghosts to help us out. The game also features several teams you'll probably recognize from the time, such as Team Orica and their mighty Vipers, Nissan Motorsports, Audi, Rock Racing, Toyota Motorsports, and many others. With cars tied to these teams, this brings up the count to 44 cars and 27 teams, with each team having multiple vehicles with different tuning and or liveries, classified into GT and prototype classes. There is no economy in this game, so none of these cars require any monetary purchases or maintenance, which unfortunately leaves out any form of customization, both performance or visual wise, though you can do slight adjustments with how much fuel you want to take into the race, what type of downforce you want to run, what tires you want as well, and the transmission. The various different cars are locked behind time trials, championship modes, and the Le Mans mode, with the most extreme one being the Toyota GT1, locked behind the 24-hour setting of Le Mans. And with up to 25 cars maximum on the field on any race, especially for the main one, this game requires some of the highest level of focus you can bring to the field. Or you can just entirely depend on emulation with save states. I recommend running this game on the Flycast emulator, as I've heard the PC version has a 21 FPS lock, probably because PCs back then were just that weak. Especially when we remember this game not only had some pretty good graphics for the time, but also a ton of additional features such as a day and night cycle and weather changes. Now as for the tracks, I'll be honest, I legit thought this game only had Circuit de la Sarthe layout and nothing else, but I was surprised to see a few more tracks in here. The iconic Suzuka circuit with both the east and west course, which is rarely seen in racing games, and of course the full layout. You also have Donington Park in here, Catalunya, Brno, and the Bugatti layout. Finishing up the roster here. The tracks are well designed and features lots of unique touches such as the crowd, the grandstands, the environment itself. It just feels nice to drive around them, and some are filled with lots of uphill and downhill parts. However, it may get a little bit repetitive because some of these events have a high lap count in the championship mode, which is going to be the biggest problem for this game, being its repetition. As a Le Mans game, high lap counts and a lot of endurance races is going to be expected, but there are just too many repeat events. With no way to tinker with cars or the addition of an economy in place for maybe something like a damage penalty, it's the kind of game I'd recommend to be experienced in small bursts rather than one long continuous playthrough. Especially since the only goal or objective the game can provide is to either beat all the championships, conquer Le Mans in 24-hour settings, or collect all the extra cars. If I were to judge it based on when it was released, however, it's no surprise any fan of racing, motorsports, or just Le Mans in general would be blown away by this game. The graphical fidelity for a Dreamcast game looks insane, even almost being on par with the OG Xbox. And the amount of details with how the AI behaves, tire degradation, fuel systems, pit strategies, the teams and their multiple tuning options, it overall makes this a very fun experience. If you also play this game, do let me know your feedback in the comments down below, and you can also drop a like and a sub if you want to support the channel. I'll see you fellas in the next video. Take care.